And I didn't think it was gonna affect my life at all until my sister got diagnosed with lupus. And now whenever I think of lupus, I think of my sister.
First, I think about my mother, and then directly second, I think about my baby sister. Both my mother and sister were diagnosed with lupus.
So lupus affected specifically my family when we were younger, and we realized that my mother was actually diagnosed with lupus, and it took a toll on her in many different areas, whether it been emotionally. It also took a toll on her body physically, whether she woke up with bruises on her bodies at times, because sometimes her white blood cells will attack her body, also attacking her kidneys. And it even attacked her in a way to even have seizures as well, depending on how her medicine, if she was responsible taking her medicine in time to keep the seizures from occurring. What goes through my mind with the word lupus is, a silent sickness.
Yeah, when I hug her, I just think about, like, especially since I'm not there regularly, this could be the last time. Lupus affects and attacks your kidneys, it affects your organs. Anything can go wrong, that could be her last breath. And that's sad and hurtful and scary.
It actually pushed my childhood to the side a little bit, so that way I can make sure that I help out where help is needed. It was painful, but sadly it also became to a numbness, because you kind of have that mindset, because she was in great hands, that she was going to be taken care of each time. So every time something happened eventually down the road, it felt like a numbness to where, everything was going to be all right. You never would expect something to happen like a passing, because my interpretation of my mother was she was Superwoman. Like, she was invincible to this because she fought it so well. So it affected us more after it got to the end of the line.
I knew that it was going to be something that, like, ongoing fight. That day when she told us, I remember it vividly. I knew that she would be a lupus warrior, and that the things that we would have to go through and do wouldn't be normal or typical for the regular family.
I'd call her a warrior. And it finally gets to me why they call it the lupus warrior. She's definitely a warrior. Like, she does more than just surviving. She is fighting every single day. I don't think to ask why, just because I know God has a plan for all of our lives. I know He doesn't do anything by mistake. It's not a coincidence that literally same time last year I was learning about lupus before she was even diagnosed. And then once she got diagnosed, I wasn't shocked of what lupus was. If Lupus Foundation never came, if I never came to TSU, if Lupus Foundation never came to TSU, if I didn't learn about the Lupus Foundation beforehand, the first time I would have learned about lupus is when my sister got diagnosed. So then I would have been in utter shock. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't have a support system. I wouldn't know where to turn to. I wouldn't know any of that stuff. So, like I said, God makes no mistakes. So I know that there's a purpose and a plan for what He's doing. And even though it sucks, and even though I don't know the full, like, scope of His plan, it's for a reason. And one day I'll look back at this time and these last couple of months of her getting diagnosed, and I'll say, okay, this makes sense, God. I understand. Thank you.